My name is Borsha, and I am the developer advocate at EVMux. And today I have with me the CEO and co-founder of EVMux, Eran, with me. So with Eran, we are going to have a pretty much goofy storytelling session about how EVMux came about, the why, how, and the what of EVMux, and the behind-the-scenes story of what are the different veteran companies that Eran has also started that also led eventually to founding EVMux and their concurrent stories. So, Eran, would you like to give a brief introduction of who you are and about the companies you have founded and eventually about EVMux?
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone, Eran, the CEO of Vivimax. You already told a huge part of our journey that we start with another company and then we came up with Vivimax. Um, so, back in those days, before COVID hit, we mainly focused on in-person events. We provide solution for the registration, badge printing, tracking in events, in in-person events. Mostly we complement those companies that providing the platforms for registrations for event. Um, so we were the part of the on-site. We complete the on-site part in terms of the badge printing, checking, tracking in sessions, and things like that. At some point when COVID hit, all the event industry was actually pretty shut down, mostly the in-person events, and everyone moved to the virtual space. So we find that there is a huge pain point in this space. So we came up with EVMAX. EVMAX is event multiplexer. This is where the name came from. And we're still with the same name, even though on the line we totally changed the way we are seeing the platforms and the people we are serving, because right now we're not only focusing on the virtual space for the events, we are doing it for all the vectors in the content creation industry. So you can find so many different content creators leveraging EVMAX. If it's churches that doing the Sunday services, if it's gamers using EVMAX, if it's people doing live sports shows, things like that. Um, so once we figure out that there is a huge demand for content creator to have a platform like EVMAX, we decided to focus on all of those vectors and do the adjustments on the system to be able to provide them all the things that they are dreaming to have on platforms like ours. This is in short. Of course, it was a roller coaster for us, but here we are with EVMAX. We have a great platform, I think. We have a great potential on the market, and we are seeing the growth. That's pretty much.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing the story in brief. So we have certain questions as to why one should use EVMux instead of other platforms out in the market, like Melon, like StreamYard. What is the X factor in EVMux that stands apart from, all the other players in the market? Would you like to
That,
elaborate on that?
yeah, that's a good question, and actually the answer is also why we came out with EVMAX, because at that time back then when COVID hit, there were a few platforms on the market already. But the problem, I don't know to say if it's problem, but the things with it, that at that time it was very limited in terms of how you can brand your stream, and there was so many limitations of how you can customize things, and the event tech industry was very demand at that time. So they want their logo, they want the speakers to be in particular size, they want to have some different transitions between the scenes, things that other platforms didn't have back then. and also till today they don't have it. And this is the thing that giving us a lot of power over our competitors. We build a great infrastructure in the back end and everything to allow us to do things like that. And we are only at the beginning because we have crazy roadmap that will shock people once we will release those features. So this is the main part, like the ability to customize your live stream with endless options, and we are still developing new features on daily basis. So there are many things to come. Even though that currently you already can do crazy stuff with AVMax, and I hope people, explore a little bit and just give it a try, and they will figure out that with AVMax you can do many things that you cannot do in any other platforms on the market.
That's such a great answer, honestly. And I would actually urge a lot of people who has not yet, you tried EVMux to go to the EVMux website and also see their pricing plans. You will be shocked that on their free plan, EVMux is providing such awesome features. And with the paid services, the only personalization is about the removal of the logo, which is awesome. But that actually brings me to asking you this question, Eran, that once in a news article we have read that EVMux is competing with the Israeli video streaming platform Riverside. What do you have to say to that?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's an old article because eventually each one of us like go to, I don't know if to say different direction. Eventually everyone will meet up in, I guess, in the same place, while we can provide live streaming, while we have the recording capabilities, while we have local recording capabilities. I guess they mostly focused on the local recording and everything, and they are reaching more to enterprise level right now. While we are focusing on the live streaming part, even though that we have local recording capabilities. Um, but at that time, I guess when the article was published, we were on the same. I don't know if we were in the same. How do you say it? The same position back then. But since then, everyone took different path, and we are more focusing, as I mentioned, on the live streaming part, while they are mostly focusing on the recording part, on the local recording part. Um, and I can say that we are very affordable, not like other platforms that giving you the features that we can provide you, because you can say that we are kind of in the middle in terms of like software like OBS and vMix and all the others web-based live streaming studio that are currently on the market. So we are between those two, and it's amazing that we can achieve it as a web-based platform. It's giving us a lot of hard times sometimes because we are very limited with the browser, but our dev team is very, very talented, and they have many ideas how to overcome all those obstacles while we are trying to develop it as a web-based. Otherwise, to develop it as a software, it can be much easier on one hand, but we want our user not to download anything, just to log in and everything happening on the cloud, because it's much less consuming from in terms of processing the video and everything, the encoding, everything happening on the server itself. And it was hard for us to build this kind of an infra that will allow us to do things like that.
So, Erin, correct me if I'm wrong. Easy accessibility and affordability have always been the main theme of EVMarks. You've wanted people to have the maximum accessibility with the software, and that is the reason you've given them a lot of customizations. Now coming to the this particular question, on the free plan a lot of people see that they have a local recording duration for about 7 minutes, and if they pay for any of the pricing plans they get cloud storage of certain amounts. So it's 2023 and a lot of applications are getting shifted to cloud. Either there is cloud migration happening or there are cloud native applications which are being built. So how do you deal with the cloud monitoring and the cloud deployment costs? Would you like to share with that?
The local recording is, while we are recording each participant locally on his device and then send it to the cloud. This way you can get best resolution from the camera, and also it won't be depend on on your internet connection. So if you're having any issues while you are recording or streaming, still you will get it in the best quality without frames that drop and everything like that, because it's locally recording on each device and then uploading it to the cloud. While recording on the cloud, it's recording the whole composition with the graphics, with the logos, with the videos on the scene. And this is, we are not allowing it right now on the free plan. Eventually, the only thing that the reason for that is, eventually we are a company that we need to generate revenue, and while we have high costs for cloud, we must have some few things that will generate, not generate, will make those users to upgrade for a paid account, so we will be able, pay the bills and everything, and have some revenue eventually. And to operate a system like EVMAX, the cost is very high in terms of cloud pricing and everything. So that's pretty much the reason that we, decided some way we will provide our user the ability to play with all the features that we are offering on one hand, but we need to somehow limit them, at least in some little points that might hurt some of them, that their brand is important for them. Mostly the professional people, because none of the professional people that the brand is very important to them want the logo of EVMAX to appear on the right side, right? So they eventually will upgrade. But this is the only thing that we are on the free plan forcing them to have. Unlike the other features that they can explore everything on EVMAX, actually.
Awesome. So my question is, we have seen that after 2007 or 2010 there has been this startup culture where startups are literally getting lost in the circus of valuations. So why did you think you want to go the bootstrap way other than the funding way? What made you think about getting it bootstrapped?
So that's a great question, because it's not necessarily that we want to go and continue as a bootstrap. By the way, at some point we might go to get some funds, but we started as a bootstrap because the company that we founded before, called Xtag, by the way, that the ones that I told you before about on-site registration, badge printing, and things like that in the event industry. This was a totally bootstrap company, and it's still bootstrap company. And this is eventually where the funds that we needed for EVMAX came from. So actually, this Xtag, funds EVMAX, and this is allow us to build EVMAX and make it more independent at some point. Eventually, we are still thinking about if continue as a bootstrap, or maybe to accelerate things by getting funds from VCs or things like that. The market is not so great right now, by the way, so we are still on the fence, waiting to the right time to make those decisions. But everything's open, so who knows?
Yeah, who knows exactly.
We are very like to be a bootstrap company because all the decision you are making and everything is very depend on how we see the picture without, without the need to explain ourselves and have those, board meetings every time because we like to run fast. And this is one of the advantages that we have, and this is why we were able to be successful with AVMAX and bring it to what it is right currently.
That's so true. That's so true. And for you, like, what is your perspective of where the video streaming industry is actually getting headed? Do you think it's gonna have a burst someday? You think this is booming, or you think that this is actually steeping through a downhill? What do you think?
No, no, it's we believe, if we weren't believe that live streaming is everything that in the tomorrow world, we won't be here, right? We truly believe that the live streaming industry and especially the content creation industry, it's exponentially growing each year. We already can see it. I have a great story, by the way. It was funny because it was funny. I spoke with one of the people in my family, and he told me that his daughter asked him someday and one day about she came to him and told him like, Dad, when we are going to set up my YouTube account, I want to start making videos. And it was like, and she's like 80 years old, and you can see that already even young people want to be influencers and make their videos and publish videos on YouTube and things like that. So you can understand it while we are growing. It's like those kids eventually will need those platforms to be able, to broadcast their content, to repurpose their content, to create their content. Um, and tools like EVMAX will currently have high demand, but in the future it will be much more demand for those kind of tools. And we are here to develop it, to bring more feature, to adapt ourselves from things that we are learning from the market and also the demand in the market. That's pretty much it. It's going to be huge. We are truly believing it. We can already see it.
Yeah, we can already see it. It's so visible and evident. So Erin, I mean, I think you will always agree to the fact that you are in the creator space, right? And with
Yeah.
creator, the another term is creator economy. So how do you think EVMAX is actually going to contribute to the creator economy?
That's a good question. Depend on how you asking it, like in which terms. But eventually, what we are trying to do is making their life much easier by providing them, easy to use tools. Right now, it's the live streaming that we are focusing mostly. We have some plans in the future also to go inside those parts of repurposing the content and editing the content afterwards. But currently, we are focusing mostly on the live streaming part and the recording. But it's very simple, just making their life easier and giving them tools to be successful. And this is what we are trying to do in EVMAX.
Tell a little bit more about like EVMAX as a company, like how big of a company it is, where does it operate from, and how can people get opportunities to work with EVMAX? Are there any programs available? Please walk us through that.
So great. So we based in Israel and Florida. The dev team is sitting here in Israel. I'm sitting in Israel, while we have the other two co-founders sitting in Florida. Edimax is not a big company. It's like a 14 people company. It's pretty small. But we were able to achieve many things that I'm not sure that even bigger company had. We have a very talented dev team, very talented people across all the teams actually, uh, and we are able to developing things very fast, very robust way. We have we, the dev team is combination of people that came from Microsoft, from Wix, those enterprise level that bringing a lot of knowledge in terms of the parts in monitoring things in terms of like if it's people that came from Wix bringing a lot of knowledge of the experience, the user experience, things like that. And I think we are in a good shape in those terms, and we are very we want to expand our team, and right now we are searching for we have some positions.
Yeah, from a CEO, the community of creators and the community of content producers would also like to hear from you how should they channelize their content using EVMux, and what are some of the advices you have for the younger generation to navigate their way, in the content space and in the creator space, because EVMux is in those content and creator space. What are some advices for those younger generation?
Great question. So as you know, content creation is combination of not only to do some live stream from time to time. You need to have the ability to upload video that you are recording and repurposing and doing some live stream. All of those things in combined will allow you to influence and increase your engagement with your viewers and the people who are watching you and following you. So you need to have so you need to maintain all of those parts. Sometimes to just upload short video, sometimes repurposing a live streaming that you had before, and cut some seconds from it, even adding some scripture to it, and upload it. Do a live show with EVMAX, for example, and engage with your audience in terms of reading their comments, answering them live. It's much more engaged with them than just upload, a video file, and then um, they will respond, and you will respond to them with EVMAX or other tools. While you are doing it live, it's much more, and that's it. Just keep doing it and be very consistent with it, and with time you will see the growth of your viewers and subscriptions, and of course at some point you will monetize it, and even you can make some money with it. And of course, not only influencer that wants to make money on the internet can leverage GBMax or things like that. Every company that wants to expand their exposure for their potential clients can, use those same methods and expand, the exposures for their potential clients. That's pretty much. Just be consistent with it.